except to say that when the chairman was on his way out of the Human Conceptual College, that's when we were entering. So, that. You can see that he's never young looking. And I was particularly pleased when some of his classmates, who we also regret, because yes, to ensure that they are recognized in our permit me to just say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow humanists, and eminent compatriots, I am very, very glad to be here, and I'm even more glad to see all of you taking time off the weekdays to come and celebrate the good thing. He says a lot.
Sorry.
See, birds of the same feather flock together. The success of this program so far is a testimony to what we share, all of us, in common. And that is gladness. And today, we are celebrating this good day, Providence Television International. Can we give them a round of applause? This initiative is an example of the difference a few creative individuals can make. Madame is manning her desk that way. Kipwa is all over the place. At the point I was tempted to ask the CEO to please sit down. I think that's a function of the numbers. But the main point is that a few individuals can make all the difference in the life of the people. In these 365 days, we are all witnesses to the editorial judgment of Providence Television International, focusing on stories relevant to the people, and above all, promoting values, truth at all times, leadership, and commitment for the common good. If these were absent, I know most of the people here would not have been here, except with Africa. The station was not set up to promote an individual, by which the news starts and ends with what that individual did today and what the individual. So I thank the chairman for permitting me to congratulate Providence TV International for what you have achieved, and to exhort you that higher heights are there to be attained. You saw their choice of song in the musical interlude, Born to Win. Are we not all born to win? Thank you very much again for the choice of that song. Reassuring. Now, the second point I would like to touch on, is the choice of this venue. Father Fernando Ball, to honor the exemplary priest who Father Fernando was. For those who don't know him, he was popularly known as Okada Father. I know best, my brother. He remembers. This Jesuit priest took it upon himself to teach Okada riders, which at some point was the dominant mode of transportation in our land. Father Fernando took it upon himself to teach Okada riders how to ride in safety for their own protection and the protection of their passengers. A number of people that were going to Peggy and see the, what they call them, broken arms, broken legs, and death. Father Fernando appreciated that challenge. He tried to make it difficult. The soul of Father Fernando find eternal rest. Beyond that, Father Fernando was a media man himself. He was a painter. Go to the church hall there and St. Peter's. Through his paintings, Father Fernando taught us Joseph, St. Joseph, Mother Mary, and one of the greatest revolutionaries we've ever had, Jesus the Christ. The African people. Yes. They look like you and I. Go to St. Peter's at the altar. You will see it. And here too, there are those who believe well, it doesn't matter that you see that. We are dealing with historical truth, verifiable. For me, as a person, I cannot even describe how that experience elevated me at the personal level, spiritually. I live in Obayuwana Northeast local government, but St. Joseph Parish was mine. For no other reason that when I come to pass, I have something to take back. My few words today, the Chairman Sir, I chose to speak on extreme nationalism and obstacle to justice in our world. extreme nationalism, an obstacle to peace and justice in our world. There is no doubt, no Baba said, he was saying prayer, and said, look, so I not only understand the Dominica, following suit, and when a woman, a woman, and a rocky. It's not something to be apologetic for. To want good things to happen to your land. Now to mirror that, the English will say, charity begins from home. And that is the recipe that forbids hypocrisy. It cannot be Adazowa. Charity must begin from home. So, there should ordinarily not be anything wrong with wanting good things in your home front. Along the same line, we say, a Goma Pegowa. Anyway, if the masquerade is going to display its mastery of characters, must start from the home front. Then I ask you, Pegowa, I saw it, they buy a family, but that's not the case. Wrong. But my concern today, ladies and gentlemen, is with extreme nationalism. I've considered it. Love of country is fine. But when it's taken to extreme levels, it becomes a recipe for chaos and an obstacle for justice all over the world. The case in point, ladies and gentlemen, a reference point is President Donald Trump, with his mantra of Make America Great Again. MAGA. You will remember that America has been generally regarded as the world's greatest country, sometimes described as the leader of the free world. That dates back a few years ago, the years of Cold War. So, Trump's battle cry presupposes that America is losing that status. Hence the need to make it great again. The question to be answered is, why? Why is America losing its greatness that Trump says needs to be restored? What will it take to make America great again? Incidentally, today is the 34th anniversary of the creation of our own Edo State. But for this commitment, there were those who were trying to get this to address that at the level of Edo. You will recall a few years ago, we also faced this slogan of Make Edo Great Again. That one was mega. Trump's own is MAGA. As for Trump, those sometimes referred to as aliens and immigrants, who are the people taken away from America's greatness. Hence, his policies that immigrants must be dealt with ruthlessly if America is to be great again. We have great minds on this side of the table and on this side of the table also today, who will readily remind us a wrong diagnosis can only but lead to wrong prescription. That's not the case, sir. Locally in the US, Mr. Trump has resort to appealing to base instincts of hatred as opposed to love of immigrants. He said during his campaigns, particularly in Springfield, Ohio, and described Haitians as immigrants, those who kill and eat the dogs and cats of the residents of Springfield. By this, Mr. Trump sowed the seeds of hatred against fellow human beings. Hatred, and for a long time to come, cannot be erased. Sadly, this generalized allegation is not one that was verified to be true. Don't let them into your community. Kill your dogs and cats and eat them. Secondly, Mr. Trump has been drawing distinctions between naturalized citizens of America and US-born citizens. I seem to question that naturalized citizens are not quite as entitled as US-born citizens. Lately, he has also been drawing distinctions between US-born citizens who happen to have been born by visitors who may have stayed when they are the B2 visa. Had your children or had a child in the business trying to enjoy your abuse, their children or political immigrants come even though in America they cannot be US. Lately, this very week, what we are being told is that children of diplomats, those family in the Nigerian embassy, even though their children are born there, they go to school there, they go to shop there, they live there, because they are children of immigrants, diplomats, they cannot enjoy the status of citizenship. All of this has been manufactured into a basis for mass competition. So, the focus is on exclusion as opposed to inclusion. We all know that he has offered a number of countries, I will pay you to receive the deportees. There's one good thing I can ascribe to the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu that he rejected now. We are still waiting for the Rwandan president to explain to us why he accepted that. Let us contrast this, ladies and gentlemen, with the words on the Statue of Liberty on the shores of the waters in New York. Permit me to quote her. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your treaty shores. By that, America promised hope and refuge for immigrants. Trump is reversing all of that. Yet says not again. Now, you are all witnesses to the recent new visa requirements. You have to supply 2 years of your social media records, your commentaries, on TikTok, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, for scrutiny by the US Embassy. If you are found to have made a critical comment, forget it. We don't need soothsayers to say that the consequence of this is a chilling effect on freedom of speech and the right to hold an opinion and share that opinion with others. Before now, freedom of speech was deemed fundamentally beneficial to democracy. Robust debates, free of prior restraint. As prominent journalists here who are celebrating the media house. This is the foundation for the privileges conferred in our Constitution on the media. Let ideas contain. The best ideas will come and be embraced. What we are being told by America under Trump. We have views different from that. Stay away. Internationally, first of all, this whole requirement is an attempt to intimidate people into silence. Which is a reduction of our humanity. Providence TV cannot have an editorial opinion that is critical. Otherwise, the CEO and his staff and all of that forget about coming to America. By the time the media house and citizens are having to think twice about what they say so that they don't offend Trump. Our humanity is reduced. In the international sphere, Trump has unleashed a tariff war, arbitrarily through and through. War on imports, eliciting for those countries that can retaliation to the EU. The question to be answered is, how does this tariff war impact on the affordability of goods by the poor, not only in America but in other countries? I don't want to bore you with his withdrawal from the World Health Organization, funding of research universities like Harvard. Perhaps he derived his impetus from the withdrawal of Britain from EU a few years ago. Now, I'm not bellyaching, but the truth must be said, and this is my greatest concern, that Trump's lead is being followed. Even in our Nigeria, Lagos, of all places. Mr. Chairman, sir, you remember 2023 election? Somebody made a video. I'm actually you. If you are not going to vote for my candidate, you don't even bother to come to the video circulated widely. Why did he say Mama Kelly? To confirm the continuity of this mindset, within the past 2-3 weeks, our streets not being remained in Lagos, bus stops. This very last week, there's a group that styles itself Yoruba so-called Progressive Elders Club, who have called upon the Lagos State government to limit the number of years in the certificate of occupancy that should be granted to Igbo. Ordinary city of those necessary years. Any application before you, Mr. Governor, if the applicant is an Igbo man, she will be more than in fact, so-called Yoruba influencers, they have started to wage the campaign. Igbos must go, not only from Lagos, from the southwest. In Ghana, Nigerians must go campaign. It's still on. Now the excuse is that, oh, there's a Igbo of Ghana. Somebody of Igbos in Ghana. We have issues with that because we are handling the matter even about our country. But in Ghana, that only gives vent to sentiments of an inclination, extreme nationalism. I ask, is this how to make Lagos great again? Is this how to make Ghana great? By driving Nigerians out. This very last week, ladies and gentlemen, we saw a group of young men and women invade prisons and hospitals in South Africa. If you know you are a foreigner, please leave this hospital. We are dealing with people who are sick, mostly Nigerians. You want to treat yourself, go and pay private clinics. But any hospital that is subsidized, I don't know how many people listen to Malika yesterday, went for the MBA conference. Monies were being deducted from the salaries of Nigerian workers to aid the struggle against apartheid. This extreme nationalism, is this what is going to make South Africa great again? They are following Trump's lead. Where is equality of rights and obligations? What has happened to equal rights and justice? A question. Does this phenomenon of following Trump's lead not tantamount to a betrayal of the ideals of Pan-Africanism as championed by Marcus Mosiah Garvey, George Palmer, Kwame Nkrumah, and others? How would Kwame Nkrumah feel? How would Nelson Mandela feel that Nigerians are being driven out of hospitals in South Africa? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we must take this development side by side with the rise in neo-Islamism. I'll be glad if anybody can enlighten me on this variant of extreme nationalism. They say ISWAP is Islamic State of West African province. ISWAP. The whole of West Africa is a province of an Islamic state. Another wave of Islamic hegemony that tells us it's either you adopt Islam or you die. The whole of West Africa is a province confronted with fresh revelation and taking over. At a time when we have arrived at the position of freedom of belief, freedom of worship, freedom of religion. Some people will take weapons at this time to say we must all become Muslims. or die. A variant of that is Fulani nationalism. They argue that inheriting the whole of Nigeria is a birthright of theirs from Madam Fodio. And Madam Fodio had conquered the whole of Nigeria. But for the British, after they stopped at Auti or maybe Kilwa. Now that the British is gone, the time has come to conclude that move so that the oil wells and all of that can become theirs. Who is going to remain there? That my transportation was around 1820. And that we here in Benin, we have at least documented 2,000 years of history. 1820 to this time. So, they claim the right. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the MC is starting to harass me. I will try to not sorry about that. My reminder is this. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted about 77 years ago. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The International Convention on Social, Economic and Cultural Rights came into effect about 60 years ago. 60 years ago. Taken together, these rights recognize and guarantee freedom of religion, to believe or not to believe, and to practice your faith. The right to food, nutritious food that will keep you alive. The right to housing. The right to clothing. The right to health care on the basis of need. As well as the right to dignity. Our today's reality, even after so many years of the declaration of these rights, Africa remains poverty capital of the world, with the citizens of Africa being objects of discrimination and scorn. Life expectancy is the lowest in the world. Mother and infant mortality, number of children that are out of school. But what we are dealing with, ladies and gentlemen, is that even beyond Africa, the gap between the rich and the poor worldwide, including the US, is widening. Friends of Trump are the richest persons in the world. Some are even richer than countries. I dare say, Mr. Chairman, that the challenge of humanity is to redress the injustices of the past, the trade in the enslaved, colonialism, neo-colonialism, imperialism, and the ethos of might is right. These historical crimes against humanity, the trade in the enslaved, were committed by private businessmen and women, motivated solely by profit. They only rallied behind them the governments of their countries. Go and study the exploits of the Royal Niger Company and those who were sharing with the Royal Niger Company. Bitter competition between these businessmen in the various European countries led to what they called world wars and the horrors that followed. In the final analysis, you talk about world war as if between Britain and Germany. No. They were businessmen. It's like Dangote rallying the Nigerian government behind it, using the Nigerian army and other atrocities in other lands. They had a powerful media to misinform and miseducate the public and becloud the issues. Profit was the motive. They created markets for their products, even those that pose risks to the health of the people. Now the slaves were taken to America, not as far as etc. But to work in the sugarcane plantations. They processed sugarcane into sugar. They use their powerful media to induce the entire world to become addicted to sugar, irrespective of the health risk. What they did with sugar, they did with tobacco. They use their powerful media. People who have not been fed have been told that, oh, shine but they also were the ones that promoted alcohol use. Bottom line, profit. Ladies and gentlemen, this same class are still in control. They are responsible for promoting this era of extreme nationalism to set the victims against each other. Otherwise, science already exists to wipe away different mortality and mortality and hunger and hopelessness and nakedness. The issue is that the application of this science is out of the reach of the work in our midst. What is the way forward? Unity of the victims. Whether in Lagos, South Africa, or Ghana. Everywhere, and as you them out there, who dead, go along. So I'm looking for solutions. Go back to our past. In that our past, Baba Rema, everywhere Oriomega say, up one. How do you compare that with Trump in 2025? That condemns Oriomega, whether on USA or non-USA. And do not hide when recognize the right of the different, of equality. We couldn't take from our neighbors the right to speak their language. Governance was founded on collectivism. And so we have put yourself when they are drunk, even your own mother, your wife, this standard you are setting now, are you going to enforce it against them? Was quarreling with the government. Hypocrites. Creating business opportunities for the Elon Musk and in this day and time. It's your hard work. If your yarn is going to produce for you, hence going well. Head of that, they will be over. These are eternal principles. And we must revive. Now, our home, Africa. The cradle of civilization. It is the product of experience that made us to adopt the parables and the slogans that I just laid out. And that was one basic principle that I have to share with another brother. Obayuwana did not force our people to dig the books. He reasoned with them. They talk about Eva Yo, Ropa, no logo, Hera, Ropa Lebima. We did it before. We can do it again. I congratulate Providence TV International because I believe you have a role to play in bringing these truths forward in this moment and I'm doing this work. Thank you very much.
Let's put our hands together if possible. Let's give it a standing ovation, ladies and gentlemen. The presenter of the keynote address, I salute to you for that very, very cerebral presentation. Yes, indeed. The legal luminary, Barrister Dr. Osagie Obayuwana. Let's put our hands together again for him. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well, not to interject, actually, thank you very much. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, it was not by accident that I had to call on Dr. Obayuwana to come. Actually, I refer to him as a potential SIP. In law, we refer to senior advocates as SIP. And very soon you will get it. You will get it in the name of Jesus. In fact, Professor Obayuwana said it, and it will be. Because of time, I will refer to him as my learned SIP. Do you accept that? Yes. Very good. Very good. It's not bad because I can give him my gift of prior his 70th birthday, and who are he's 70. And who are his heroes? People like Anifaweini, people like Falano, people like Bekora Sankuti, people like Karl Marx. So you can trace where he's coming from. We pray for more vibrancy upon you. So thank you very much. Though it was a bit long, but we enjoyed it. We enjoyed very much. And so although there's a music piece I love so much. I love it so much. I think it's there. It's done by Jimmy Cliff, ageless Jimmy Cliff. It's titled Born to Win. Okay? So everybody here is born to win. Thank you.